So here is a simple and short video that I'm going to try and keep short. Here I have a starter that came out of BMW. There is a car behind me that this starter came out of. It's an N52 engine. This is a typical representation of a starter. It can be some kind of a, well, any other car. In general, the starter is going to look about the same. It's just naturally an electric motor, a solenoid on top of it, and there is some gear stuff on the business end that engages the flywheel basically. This end of the solenoid you would see a couple of different terminals. There are two lugs. This is basically the input from your ignition start button, and this bigger terminal is where the big wire hooks up, and the ground is naturally the body of the casing of the starter, the body of the starter. Okay, the point of this video was to really show how to test your supposedly dead starter, or if you're suspecting that the starter is not really doing anything good anymore. Here is all the essence of this video coming right up. This is my 12 volt or 14 volts, in this case, power supply that will actually output about 50 amps of current. One is black, which is negative, and one is red, which is positive. There is 14.3 volts on the display of that power supply. Or you can use any other method of providing 12 volts, like a battery that may be laying around or something that has 12 volts in it, but it has to be able to provide a fairly reasonable amount of current. I would say 20 amps, something like that. Okay, we have connected the negative 14 volts to the chassis of the starter, and basically just do what your start position does. 12 volts applied to the start terminal. If this was a good starter, if I plug this in, it should at least make a clicking noise and actually engage the gear. Let's try doing that. And there is nothing there at all. We can see some sparky. I see about 9 amps. And there's nothing else going on. So this starter is definitely not, at least the solenoid part is not doing much. Basically tells me that something going on and the solenoid is not engaging. But that's basically the essence of this test. If you apply voltages and nothing happens, nothing clicks, nothing engages, that just means that something is locked up and or shortened out, or whatever can be the reason for your starter to be dead. It's rather dry, and I don't think I can. Well, yeah, it sounds really crunchy. It's not supposed to, and it's really, yeah. Well, I can try doing 12 volts trick again. I kind of turned the motor, turned the starter a little bit. Okay, I have reset the power supply, and alright. And that's what it's supposed to do. Well, I guess I'm a little bit surprised. Earlier when I tried to do all this, there was no movement or noise or anything. Nothing was engaging, nothing was really happening. Now I was just really thinking that something just really died inside of it and it was just a total kaput, but apparently it's not. So let's do it again. Well, I'm kind of welding things up here, but that is the noise your starter is supposed to be making when it's good. And if we reference back to the beginning of this video when I was doing this 12 volt thing and not a single noise was coming out of it, that's when you may say or decide that the starter is dead. And if the starter is not dead, it's going to make that noise. That's basically how your good and bad starter should behave, and that's pretty much it, I guess.